This is Beyond the Chutes. I'm Doug Simcox. Now, we are powered by Parasite System on a mission to change the game in veterinary medicine. They're building smart, easy-to-use tools that keep animals healthier and clinics running sharper. Helping vets help pets. Around here, we're not chasing sound bites. We're after the real stories, straight from the arena, the road, and the people who live this life full time. Rodeo isn't just a show, it's a way of life, and we're here to tell it. Today we're back with part 3 of our conversation with Mike Duplissey. From Detroit rodeos and meeting Marilyn to the spectacle of the Pontiac Silverdome, Mike brings raw honesty and cowboy grit. Let's get to it.
Met Marilyn in Detroit, Michigan. Well, I first met her at Ocala. Fletcher's transmission went out in his truck. I had to buy a transmission. We'd parked the Lincoln. Anyway, we drove to Detroit. And I just come out of a bad divorce about a year earlier. And, man, we didn't even like girls, women. And definitely didn't like barrel racers. They'd run over you. And I tell you, I went out with Marilyn and I threw those keys to that truck to Fletcher and said, "See ya." And looked back. They actually did a newspaper article. I'll try to find it for you, Doug. I got it in storage. It's somewhere. I got a couple articles, but only one of them's for reading. One of them's not for reading, about streaking. They didn't quite get all the facts right.
Yeah.
But anyway, a newspaper man came out from the Detroit paper and wrote an article about me and Mike Fletcher and our crew, and Marilyn and her sister was there rodeoing out of Oklahoma, and that's the first night we went out. And they got a picture of me, a bareback rider, packing a 5-gallon bucket of water to Marilyn's barrel horse.
Oh, no.
And that's an unforgivable sin.
I was going to say, that's hard on your reputation now.
Yeah, reputation went right out the window. But you know what? I didn't care. I knew what I was doing.
Detroit. This would have been the indoor?
Indoor at the old State Fair.
Okay.
That metal kind of coliseum. Mm-hmm. And they had a bar right across from it where all the cowboys would go once a year. Mm-hmm. And we just take over, and they wanted us to take over. But I took Marilyn over there. But we stayed and got our money till the next day. Marilyn may have been up that day. Barrel racing was 2 go-rounds. I think the bareback riding was 1 go-round. And we left there with all their money. You know, yeah. I won the bareback riding. She won the barrel racing, both goes. Mm-hmm. And, it doesn't get any better than that for a rodeo cowboy, and you're in love, you know. Mm-hmm. Hell, I knew I was going to marry her the first night I went out with her, and I fought it. But I even jumped in with Tom Orr and Joe Lifto. We was in Missouri, me and Fletcher, and I ran all the way to California. I stayed gone out there rodeoing for about 5 or 6, 7 days. Marilyn met me in Tulsa. I flew back to Tulsa, picked me up in Tulsa, and we went to some rodeos. But it was God sent. She was.
51 years.
Yes, sir. We've been married 50, and we rodeoed together 1 year. Mm-hmm. So we might as well have said it's 51.
Yeah, been together. Yeah. And talking about Detroit, not far from Pontiac. Mm-hmm. This blows my mind. The Pontiac Silverdome.
Yeah.
What a spectacle. Is that the right
Largest one-day rodeo ever.
I mean.
And man, I had a bucker every year.
Yeah. You were invited because of standings, or?
I don't know really how they did that, but I do know that all of the top 15 or 20, it seemed like that we were all out. And I never ever, that was the rodeo I didn't get entered in that made me go to the RCA. PRCA, whatever.
Yeah.
I told Marilyn she'd already got her card. I'd had so much good luck at the Silverdome. I went it 1 year, and I was second 1 year. And I won a lot of money there. And Marilyn won it the year I won it. And she said, when are you going to get your permit? And I'd forgot this. And I said, I'll get my permit right after the Silverdome.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to mention any names, but they did not enter me. And that was a no-brainer then.
Had they heard?
They knew Marilyn was already in the WPRA.
I see.
They were extremely jealous of Marilyn.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to give it away, but I turned down a $25,000 check from those folks. They're all dead and gone, I think. And then in 76 at the IFR, we pulled up. He handed me a check. He said, your dad said you'd sell that yellow horse. I said, he's not for sale. The only promise Marilyn made me make her when I asked her to marry me in her mother's kitchen was, don't ever make me sell Dad.
Okay.
I said, he'll never be sold. So that guy, he was a rich, arrogant guy. He just turned around on the hood of his truck and signed a check, left it blank, handed it to me. And this is in 76. And I mean, 100,000 wouldn't have scared him then. And I said, I told you he ain't for sale.
Yeah.
Tore the check up and left him standing there slack-jawed. So I didn't get entered, and I ordered my permit the same day.
You did. Okay. And back to Dan, in today's world,
Priceless.
what would he have sold for? What would be
half
his
a
value?
million.
$500,000.
Yeah, I think he'd have sold for $500,000. It's relative to what they can make. Those girls are making $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 at the finals and the year. And I mean, there's some rancher granddaddy would have wrote $1 million check probably. You know,
Yeah.
He outrun everything.
Yeah.
I mean, Gail Pesca's horse, Jimmy Monroe's, everything. And I'm telling you, there was 3 or 4 salty, tough barrel horses in the IRA. We could have gone against them just like the rough stock, you know. They were just as deep, just as bad. You know, I'm proud of my IRA days.
And a lot of Longhorn rodeos and all of that.
Well, you never miss one.
Yeah.
If you were, you know, if you wanted to be in the top 5, you never miss one. I spent, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years in the top 5, even with the injuries and stuff. But, you know, nobody loved a rodeo no more than me.
Yeah. You know, Jim and Maggie, the J-Bar J, they moved on. They did. And Jim and Maggie talked about that on their show.
Yep. I'd like to think I started that ball rolling. I'd been in there for about 3 years. I was fit. I was really ready to retire. My old body was just not there. It just hurt so bad. And I remember calling Jim and Maggie, and I told them about how wonderful those people treated me in Maryland. Not to say I wasn't treated wonderful in the IRA, but they had outgrown, I felt personally, the IRA, and that they had such great stock and put on such good rodeos that they needed to make a change. And they had it. I'm positive they had me on speakerphone because I remember talking to both of them either separately or together. And I took my best shot and tried to talk them into it. And about 10 or 12 years later, they were in there. So I hope I planted a seed. But I know Maggie came through Poto take Ben's granddaughter to see Ben and her dad, and she came by the real estate office, and I had a bull flank hanging there. A kid was making flat bull flanks, and I sent it to Jim. And we don't visit like we should. All of our friends, we old friends don't. We put it off, and then hell, one of them's dead. And we should have visited. But I really respected them, and me and Maggie drank a few Coors that I'd bring out of Oklahoma and Texas if I was headed that way. So I like to think we're still as close as we always were.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look what they did.
Night jacket.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I meant. I couldn't believe it. I was shocked when Maggie told me that Nightmare only had one foal, but it was Night Jacket. We only need one, but God, how exceptional that is.
Yep.
I mean, and all those night horses at the NFR.
Yep.
And I get to tell people, their grandmama two-jumped me.
Yeah.
Did it with ridiculous ease.
And you spoke earlier about the Cowboys from Iowa.
Mayos. I was lucky enough. I'll tell you, a cowboy from Kansas, Drew Hayes, really a good guy. He rode bareback horses, big, tall, long drink of water. He brought Bobby Mayo around. And my dad, his bareback riding heroes was Don first, the one that ended up in the car wreck in a wheelchair, and then Paul and Bobby. I don't think there was another brother. But the ones that I got acquainted with well was Bobby Mayo, when Drew brought him around, and he was going through some tough marital times. But we got real close, and we didn't talk a lot, but we always looked each other up when we got to a rodeo, and they were champion wrestlers. Goat, Paul Mayo, he won the PRCA 3 or 4 times, I guess. And then Bobby, he might have won it once, but he was runner-up a couple of times. And little like me, little feller, Bobby was, a little thicker. But I forgot about this. The best compliment I ever got, I rode a saddle bronc horse at Detroit. I went around on him, and he just didn't buck a lot under a saddle. I think his number was 106. He's a big bay, and he'd lumber off across front of the bucking chutes. And he just really bucked and was changed leads a little bit. And I just was right that day, and I really scraped him. And I got off right in front of Bobby Mayo. I mean, face to face. He didn't go nowhere. He was in as far as he could on one side, and he bucked across the 6 chutes, and I got off right there. I got off on Ben, set me down. Me and Bobby was face to face, and he hugged me, and he said, "You'll never make a better ride than that."
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I thought, shit, he's seen everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. And I told him that.
So do it all again. Do you press a little harder on the bronc riding?
I don't think I could have pressed any harder in the bareback riding.
Yeah. I mean saddle bronc.
Yeah, I'd started a lot earlier. I waited. Maynard tried to start me when I was just getting to my peak in the bareback riding, and he had me in a 14.5 saddle, and I rode a 16.
Oh, wow.
And
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He thought since I was little, I must
Okay.
have, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I couldn't stay in that saddle. And then I didn't start soon enough. These kids that come around here, if they want to learn, I try to start them in the saddle bronc riding. You can do it till you're 40 or 45.
Right.
Fletcher proved that.
Right.
and did it.
And Tom
well.
Orr?
Tom Orr. Gene Maynard.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
But yes, I would, a young cowboy, I'd start him in the bronc riding and then go to bareback riding or bull riding. I would never encourage bull riding just because they get stepped on, you know.
Yeah, yeah. There's another name. One of my favorite pictures. Gene Maynard on
Silverdome.
Tell me about Gene.
I think he's one of the greatest bronc riders ever. And we were really, really close. He'd enter me just to make the bronc ride and go, and I'd get on. You know,
Yeah.
whether I was in a 14-inch seat or a 16-inch seat, I'd get on. He's one of my heroes. What can I say? Good time. Geez, Powder River, let her buck. And, you know, Indians can't handle their whiskey. And Gene was very entertaining when he got on the firewater.
Okay.
And he'd get on it quite often. And he's a really good pickup man. And he could coach from that pickup horse. He's very verbal. You just didn't know what Powder River would do, you know, or what would happen. But I'll tell you what, when he nodded his head, he's go get you money.
Yeah.
Best bronc ride I've ever seen in my life. He was out of the saddle, and I think he was 87 points back in IFR 4. One of Morgan's wild shoe, he just sucked through his butt, just turned back right there, and just get it on. And you old timers, y'all know that bronc ride. You know, that's as good as it gets. And Gene, he could be making a 23 on a 23, and he'd over and under them horses at 6 seconds and hoop and holler. You know, nobody did that.
And when you mean when you mean over under.
Yeah, till he'd take his bronc rein and just whip him in the flanks like you was go whip a cow horse off to go catch a cow. And he'd just scream and holler and whip them over and under them 2 or 3 times and be spurring them right in the neck. Golly, he could ride.
Just enjoyed it?
Yeah, no doubt. Craved it.
Mm.
He craved it.
Mm.
And he'd turn loose and go at them.
When'd you first meet him?
Wow. Probably 65.
He was, what, 14, 15?
Yeah. 64, 65. And we stayed best friends. We never had a word.
Really?
Never had a word.
Yeah.
And he put on some rodeos, and he always mounted. Man, he'd rent good horses. They always bucked. He had a Aurora, Missouri, or wherever he lived there 2 or 3 years, Miami, Oklahoma. And you know, he lived a true cowboy life in Alaska after the fact.
Now, wait a minute. I had not heard this.
Really? Oh, yeah.
Alaska.
Yeah, he moved to Alaska, and the Inuits, the Indian tribe up there, he organized them. He bought, bred, and raised a bunch of horses and cattle, and what was he into, like caribou?
Oh, wow.
Raising the caribou.
So do you know where in Alaska?
He got plumb wild. I mean,
Yeah.
like living wild.
Yeah.
And his whole family moved there with him. He's only been dead about 2 or 3 years. I wished I'd have gone up there and spent some time with him.
Do you know where he was up there?
Oh, I forget. It was Upper Alaska.
Upper. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He became business partners with the local Indians, and they elected him mayor.
Oh, wow.
He would run
Okay.
the show.
Okay.
Maynard would run the show.
Okay.
So he did very well. I mean, wilderness, you know.
Yeah.
He developed some wilderness stuff and
Yeah.
raised it. And Muscat,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
what else they got? Caribou.
Yeah.
He was
Reindeer.
running Caribou.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, what an entrepreneur that little feller was. Man, for a short, fat, dumpy cowboy, he could spur.
Yeah.
He was picking up there at Bangor, Maine, when I had that 3.7s, and he was slapping his shaps, and that probably did more for me than him and Ben probably kept me from getting shot out of the building.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was on a basketball court sized arena.
Basketball court, and you got a horse that's got 5 gears.
Yeah.
And he's getting those gears pretty quick. And I'm telling you, when they blew that whistle, he's a 24, 25.
Yeah.
You know, he's leaping in that air and dropping.
Yeah. And that was Longhorn Rodeo.
Longhorn Rodeo.
Do you remember good audience?
Packed it.
Packed. Yeah.
Packed every performance.
Earlier you had mentioned the younger generation, and one of the names you mentioned was Bobby DelVecchio.
Bullman.
Comes out of the Bronx now.
Yep, the Bronx. I was at the Bronx with him for about a week or two with him and Mike Waters. That got a little scary. But, that was on their home turf. They were all good. And Scott Fletcher, being a younger crowd, about like DelVecchio's age, he nicknamed him Bullman. Bullman.
Okay.
And Bobby D, he could... Man, he rode with his hand real flat. I remember that. Flat on those back of bulls. And he could really push on it for it if he had to.
Okay.
He could... I pulled this rope at Texarkana. I was training racehorses, and I took an owner up there of mine. And I carried him, put him on the back of the bucking chutes. He was real squeamish. And Bobby had a down vest on. I never will forget it. He rode this black bull right in the gate. Man, he was bucking, going around and around and around. They blew the whistle, and he jerked his dally, and it whipped him kind of down under that bull's back feet. and he stepped on that vest, and feathers went everywhere.
Oh, wow.
And I had this my owner with me. He was, like I say, squeamish, and he threw both hands over his face. He went, "Oh, my God, he's killed him." I said, "Bobby, I owe you 20 for the sidebar entertainment." He thought that bull had killed you.
Yeah.
Feathers went everywhere.
Yeah. How'd you connect with him? He comes out of the Bronx. How'd you connect with him?
He was down in this country rodeoing, and I always had a fancy rig. And Bobby was first class. He liked fancy rigs, and I don't know. I just don't know. We hit it off, and he's a little wild and crazy, and I'd have to get on to him a couple of times, scold him, and I had to run him off of women to get the damn rig to go to the next rodeo, or to run the women off of him.
Yeah.
And I don't know. You tell me, why do you like some people you're just naturally attracted to, and why do you don't like or not attracted to?
Yeah.
It's just one of those things,
Yeah.
He had the personality.
Yeah.
Everybody loved Bobby, except that Bobby Steiner really liked Bobby.
Yeah.
And the story goes, going into the fall, he had just caught Donny Gay. And Bobby had probably had a couple of drinks, and they had him a limo. I don't know where they were. It was in the fall. He had gathered Donny by a couple of hundred, and Bobby Steiner being the only one that beat Donny that year.
Oh, okay.
So, he was his advisor. Those two hit it off, and he said, Bobby called or sent word to Donny that now he's going to kick his ass. He's got it. He finally got the lead.
Yeah.
And he hung up or whatever. Oh. And Bobby went, "Oh, man, you shouldn't have done that."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Why?" "Because I'm going to kick his ass." He said, "No, you just pissed the best bull rider ever off, and you're not going to kiss his ass."
Yeah.
Kick his ass.
Yeah.
When I heard that story, that's typical DelVecchio too.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had that much confidence, you know,
Yeah.
and that's one reason people are attracted to him.
Yeah.
But, you know, that overconfidence can get your ass beat, too.
Sure.
You know?
So you keep up with rodeo,
Not like
Cowboy Channel and all such things? No?
not really.
Not really.
Listen, the only hard part about rodeoing is quitting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, if I got one of these kids around here I've helped or whatever, I'll watch them. I do like to watch a good bareback riding. And usually by the time I get around to getting it on, they're riding broncs or roping calves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never fails.
Yeah.
But, you know, they're riding bareback horses so good. Regardless of what they think or what people think of Rocker Steiner,
Yeah.
he's cocky, so what?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was cocky. Donny
Yeah.
Gay's cocky.
Yeah.
I'm sure Bobby was cocky.
Yeah.
That has to be in your makeup to a certain extent to be able to do it.
Yeah.
To me, Jaco Roper rides really good. I watched him grow up, and we rodeoed with his grandparents, and they're both hands. Jaco rides them right. He's copied, I think, after K.C. Fields, which rides them right. His daddy rode them right. But to me personally, I don't care what they say about his toes not always turned east and west. Rocker Steiner is the best athlete riding bareback horses going. I tried to ride like him,
Okay.
and I did have fast feet. I don't think as fast as that kid's, but why not? Why not? Why not? I don't like him I like him more than anyone else. Shit, he does everything right to the handle.
Yeah.
And if he's out of shape a little bit, it won't last long, boys. He'll be right back.
Yeah.
So I hope he wins the world, you know, and he'll grow up. People are worried about that. That never did worry me, you know.
Who was a Rocky Steiner back in the days? Or Rocker Steiner back in the days? You?
No, I said I tried to ride like him.
Yeah, but I mean the character side
that kid's
of things.
a character?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was a lot like him. I was a mouthy little cocky bastard. Because I knew I had Butch and Richard. They wouldn't let nobody whip my ass.
Okay. You had the right people in your corner.
Yeah. Yeah, several times they were going to cut my hair, and they were dead serious.
Who's they?
The other team, let's say that.
So there was teams going down the road, rivalries going down the road?
Well, yeah, sure.
Okay.
You're damn right.
Yeah.
You know, you just really flash back 50 years, 55 years, how rodeoing probably was. I know how it was. Rodeoing was pretty damn crooked. Not everywhere, not all the time, but I know I was issued several horses.
Oh, so no draw.
Just issued.
Yeah.
Man killers.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we call them. Them kids call them dragons now. And I got on them so often, I finally, and I'm talking about they'd hurt you every time.
Yeah.
I mean, the difference in bareback horses and broncs, usually when you get off a bareback horse, some new spot hurts.
Yeah.
Or some old spot definitely hurts. Saddle broncs, that's not so. Even in the bull riding, when you get off a good one and land on your hands and knees and get away, they don't hurt.
Yeah.
They don't, not like bareback riding.
Yeah.
When you get off of a 22 to 24, 25 or whatever horse, something is going to give because you're tied on. And you cannot take enough drag out of that rank horse to where you don't hurt somewhere, somehow new the next day.
Yeah.
So it was a war. You know, that bareback riding's a war amongst you and the animal, but it was a war to win first.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, the guys I rode against, you better bring it you better bring your best. Because any one of 10 or 15 could win first.
Yeah.
You know, usually we could look at a draw and we could get 5 out of 6 places. We'd know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you know.
Okay. How they'd match up and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you talk about the physical side of the bareback riding. I mean, no better case, you've talked about it, but no better case than, what was it, second round of the NFR? Rucker Steiner gets knocked out on the
Knocked
back
out.
of the horse.
Knocked out by the butt of the horse.
Yep.
And he come back and might have won the round or whatever the next trip, you know. And you know, like I talk about Panic knocking me out or certain 6cc or some of those horses. I actually would ride better the next day.
You would. And
As a rule, it would just dull my senses enough
okay.
to realize, hey, you can get your ass knocked out, you better do it right.
Yeah. And knocked out enough where you didn't remember the ride, didn't remember getting there, that kind of knocked out?
Once a year.
Once a year.
Wake up at the pickup man.
Really?
Twice a year.
Really?
No, or you'd be knocked out to the extent, well, I can't stop. I know I'm on a horse. You'll get hurt.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, Panic, those kind of horses would knock you smooth out. When I tell you I woke up at the third barrel,
Yeah.
I woke up.
Yeah,
And all I knew was to jump off
yeah. Yeah.
and go over there and get a hold of the roping box and hold on for a while.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of knockout.
Concussions, you think?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this kid called me 2 nights ago, or 3 nights ago, and I said, where are you getting on Saturday night? It took him a while to answer. He said, I'm not getting on that horse I sent you that video on. I hit the ground really hard, and I got a concussion. And my dad told me I shouldn't get on.
Yeah. Yep.
I said, well, your dad's right.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking something different.
Yeah.
You know, once you get on and learn how to ride.
Yeah.
Marilyn says I'm way too hard on him. I'm not as hard on him as I was Fletcher and them kids.
Really?
Huh.
Yeah.
If you were in my rig, you got a dose.
What was it like going down the road? Somebody's not riding well. Somebody's...
Oh, man, that's shitty. It happened to me, you know, it happens to everybody.
Yeah.
And I've told him that.
Yeah.
It's like then, okay, when you're not riding well or you're not winning is this key word.
Yeah.
I'm not winning.
Yeah.
What the hell's wrong?
Yeah.
Well, it's my riding, or maybe it's my equipment.
Yeah.
And you get to fight in your head, and you get to changing shit around.
Yeah.
You're ordering different riggings. It ain't your riding. You could ride. It's your drawing. You might draw the best one on him, and he have a bad day.
Yeah.
You're just cold.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you're just cold. And I'm explaining this to this kid, and it's like, you know, like, wait till you get it figured out.
Yeah.
And then you get cold and you're not winning. You go streak a rodeo.
Right. That was part of it, right?
I got rid of it.
Yeah.
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 I said, that's when you'll need help. You'll need to talk to somebody. But you hang around negative people, you become negative. You want to be a champion, you hang around champions. You got to have the want to. I mean, you got to have want to.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
But what do you do with it when you're overloaded with the want to? That's the problem.
There you go.
I don't know. Back to where I started. A lot of people don't know this, other than my high school friends. I was an all-state pole vaulter, and I was definitely self-taught. They did not have a coach. My daddy didn't know anything about it, but me and a friend of mine, we'd cut bamboo cane. And one thing I learned is repetition, and never quit, but know when to stop at the night time. I'd vault until dark down there in Louisiana. I got to where I could jump 7 foot, 7'6". My dad was a wise guy, and he bought me the first fiberglass pole in high school that I knew of. Now, they were vaulting in college on fiberglass, John Pinnell was vaulting 14.6 at Northeast in Monroe, Louisiana. He bought me an 11-foot fiberglass pole because of the weight. You had to weigh X number of pounds to bend the damn fiberglass pole. And so I weighed 80 pounds or whatever. So it had to be a little toothpick, and that's what those guys made fun of me. The kid with the toothpick, skinny kid with a toothpick, they made fun of me till I kicked their ass. But I think, and I was also a good water skier. I could barefoot water ski when I was 10, 11 years old. I could ski backwards. I had access to that. I had a friend that showed me a couple of tricks. And I was barefoot water skiing at 50, 60 years old at Louisiana Downs when I was training racehorses. I tried to teach a couple of jockeys how, and they got killed. Maybe I'm not such a good teacher, but I'm a realist. And my dad always taught me, can't, never could. So I was so damn determined to whether it was pole vaulting, water skiing, or riding bucking Shetlands or bigger horses or whatever. I don't know what my settling factor was. But I learned at about 15 or 16, somewhere along the way, I had to settle down. I had to get a hold of the situation. And to do that, for instance, in pole vaulting, you had to go to your takeoff foot, turn around, and to the exact step, exact inch, mark where you were going to start, because you had to turn around and knock out those same tracks for a good takeoff. And anybody that knows anything knows where the takeoff is all about high jump or pole vault. But I ended up jumping 12 foot 7 inches on that 11-foot pole. I turned down a one pole vaulting scholarship, but I wasn't no all-stater. I mean, I went to state. They gave me the letter and all that. But I think a combination of water skiing, core strength, and core strength of pole vaulting helped so much when it came to spurring out horses once I was showed the correct way. Riding bucking horses really came easy. I mean, I had problems with really super rank horses, but I could adapt if I saw them go one time. But I think that you start becoming successful when you can relax in it and you let it happen. I know that sounds so easy, but it's the hardest damn thing to do. We talked about breathing, different methods of people, but I go back to Bobby DelVecchio, Mike Waters, Doyle Stanford, cowboys that I saw ride really ranked bulls. They could be sitting on the back of a bull telling you a joke and laughing louder than you were laughing. So it has so much to do with relaxation. But man, you can't relax. When you nod your head, that's the furthest thing that's got to be from your mind. But I'm talking theories. And what works for one cowboy don't necessarily work for another one. But I see so many of these young cowboys, and I saw it at schools, they want to hear their name called out, in the bull riding especially, and they wanted to nod their head, go to the bar and tell their girlfriend how great they were. But you can tell the serious ones where it doesn't really mean that much, to the point to where if I didn't make a 21 or 22 point ride tonight, there's another rodeo tomorrow. Now I'm going to learn, I learned this from Mahan's book, you can spend all night beating yourself up driving, but when that sun comes up, you got to let it go, because there's another rodeo tomorrow. So I've got a young student here and he's dead fit, all-state football player, and he wants it too bad, tries too hard. And I was telling Doug that him and Sam could extend on trying too hard with their podcast, but I don't know why I didn't ever. Once I learned how to spur out horses, I quit trying too hard. I do know that. But I did not know how to spur out horses. Once Mel Autry showed me how, it was the easiest thing in the world. And that's where you start that to build the ride. I've run out of things to tell this kid, and I sure am glad Doug came along because he hadn't run out of things. But I don't know, Doug, exactly what this has to do with anything other than me just babbling theories about riding bucking horses. But there is a science to it, and it's not easy, and it damn sure hurts, especially if you don't do it right.
Yeah.
But that's the hard part of the equation, learning how not to try so hard when you want something so bad. I don't have the answer. I just got some old cowboy ideas.
Yeah. Well, and you think about the sport, and it's very physical. We've already talked about that. Super physical. Could get knocked out on the back of the horse. Got to have the form. Got to get to the rig in every jump, right?
Yeah.
Got all that. Absolutely. Got to have the physical. We talked about the practice and the drill. You got to get to where you just do it in your sleep.
That's right.
Right. What percentage of riding bucking horses is mental?
Well, being a little feller, to me, riding bucking horses, and I'm talking about rank horses, is 90% mental. Mm-hmm. And I could trick my body. Maybe that's the right word. People don't really understand how strong the brain is. You can actually convince your brain that you can just about do any damn thing physically. Of course, you got to be in shape. You got to know the fundamentals and da-da-da-da-da. But I can remember the first time, just like yesterday, when I got on Panic. And I thought I was going to be the first one to ever ride. Well, Ben busted that bubble. But I'll tell you what, I was the second one that ever got on him and rode him. And I had convinced my mind he couldn't throw me off. He wasn't going to throw me off. Mm-hmm. And he didn't throw me off, and I got off of him. I was unconscious. So I got somewhat of an idea about how strong the brain is. You just got to stop long enough to let your body and mind take over on muscle memory and react. Yeah. You hear that all the time. Tom Murray, all the time. For every move, there's a counter move. I'm sick of hearing that. But it's so true. You just got to react and trust on muscle memory. And I'll say, you need 50 head of hoppers. Mm-hmm. Just go get on. Mm-hmm. Quit trying so hard.
Yeah.
Easy to say, hard to do.
And we talk a little bit in the middle of all that, and I agree with 100%. Sometimes just reminding ourselves why in the world we're doing this, why in the world we even got into it, and that answering that why am I doing this? Somewhere along the way, you probably did it, not talking about the guys that are doing it for the girlfriend, mm-hmm. Okay? Because that why is really thin. Yeah. Okay, it ain't gonna last. Yeah. Okay, two jumps, right? Yeah. However, the why is important because that's in the middle of it all. So when you've driven all night to get from Phoenix to the East Coast, and you got to ride tired, and you got to ride sore, and you didn't draw very good, you better remember your why.
I have no doubt why I did it. I mean, I was a adrenaline junkie,
Okay.
and it was the greatest challenge I had ever discovered, and it was a blast. I tell these kids, there is nothing like riding a bucking horse of the year, somebody handing you $1,148 for it, you win first, and there's just hardly any description to the feel of that. There's only one thing you can compare it to, and I'm not going to say what it is.
Okay.
But it's when it's right, there's nothing like it.
Yep.
Nothing.
Yep.
And when you get tapped off, it is a treat. It is special. And you may get on 100, 125 head a year. It may only happen 10 times a year. The better you get at it, the more often it'll happen. The luckier you are at the draw, the more often it'll happen. But there's life after rodeo.
Yeah.
But I still remember just vividly how a bunch of those horses felt. And it's, I mean, I could barefoot water ski, I could pole vault, I could do a lot of things, but nothing even come close.
Yeah. And you didn't do any of those things by thinking about it.
No.
I mean, if you started focusing on your feet while you're water skiing.
Yeah. You just got to arch your back and have a lot of core strength and lean way back and hold on tight.
Yeah.
It was a lot like riding bucking horses.
You better just enjoy.
That's
right?
what Richard Johnson used to say. He said, and Butch, he said, there's nothing to this bucking horse riding. Just lean way back and hold on tight.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It's just opposite.
Yeah.
You better be moving and shaking.
You better be moving. Yeah. No, it's it's an important part of the rodeo business, and then and the business of rodeo. Someone like Jake being able to not only talk about rodeo mindset, but being able to get the guidance on how to set up a rigging and how to do your chute procedure and quite frankly head towards the business of rodeo.
Right.
And you know what? If you're going to be successful with any kind of longevity, you better treat it as a business.
You better be.
Right? It costs a lot of money to do this.
Yeah. Nowadays, especially.
Yeah.
Wow. But boy, the rewards.
Yeah.
I mean, you can win $500,000.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Or $1 million if you're in.
$1 million.
Yeah, there's stuff around, right? Yeah. In our neck of the woods, there's stuff around.
That's right.
WCRA plus endorsements, absolutely.
You're looking at a couple of million. Stetson Wright.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I spoke to an anti-rodeo football coach a year ago here about a high school team. And I said the days of your part of the argument, it's not worth it financial and you will get hurt, that no longer exists. Mm-hmm. Whether you know it or not, we have a cowboy that made over $1 million this year, and that's not even counting his $1 million worth of endorsements.
Right.
His jaw hit the floor.
Yep.
He couldn't argue that.
Yep.
I said, so you can't tell these kids, 1 in 1,000 might make it in a pro football program.
Yep.
Or 10,000.
Yep.
But some of these kids, they can become successful and be making $500 to $1,000 a week and have a job.
Yep.
Right here,
Yep.
going 2 or 3 little rodeos.
Yep.
It pays so much now, and if you're good enough, you go to the NFR and do it 5 years, 7 years. You're retired. You got
That's
a
right.
ranch.
That's right.
Whatever you want.
That's right.
So that dog don't hunt. Oh, he didn't like me.
Yeah.
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 Feeling was mutual. He was judgmental. He said, if it's not football, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to have it at this school. But I asked one of my proteges, he puts on the Winsboro Rodeo every year, and he's in the PRCA loop. And I called him 2 years ago. I said, Buckshot, I taught hundreds of schools, helped a bunch of kids, including you. I said, when in the hell do you have to quit giving back to this sport?
Yeah.
And he went, never.
Never. Nope. I mean, you're giving back right now, Mike. By these conversations, you're giving back.
Yeah, this is the enjoyable part.
Yeah.
You know. Golly, when Danielle got to where she couldn't ride and Marilyn quit riding, I wouldn't even walk across the street for a rodeo. And now I go watch this kid here because he's got so much guts. But you got to have a plan for after rodeo, but you got to make it as easy as you can as when you're young before you start getting hurt.
Yep.
Man, and that is a heavy, heavy load.
Yep.
You know, I watched that Stetson Wright, and those are sure enough hands and rockers, and there's, 20 in every event.
Right.
And they just make it look so easy.
Yep.
That's when they're doing it right.
Yep.
You know, and
Yeah.
of course, we didn't get on near as many good horses as available now are bulls. And if you get on those caliber 18 to 20 3-point bulls and horses, I could see where it would get so much easier because all you got to do is do your part.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to make a horse buck.
That's right.
We had so many of those runners and duckers and divers and rotten horses. I watched 1976 finals, bareback riding from Super 8 film.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Away from top of the Coliseum, we got on a bunch of runners and duckers and divers.
Yeah.
They were rotten.
Yeah.
And that was the finals.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we got on some buckers. There was no doubt.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a tough game. It's so damn hard on your body. About the time, here's the deal. About the time you figured out exactly how to do it, you're pretty damn beat up.
Yeah. Injuries are coming in. Yeah. That's right.
You got to pay attention, these kids, and learn. Just you got to let it flow. You know, just like you said, Doug. It's truly mind over matter of relaxation, but you got to let it fly. It's confusing.
It is.
But I promise you, if this 99-pound weakling can do it, anybody can do it.
Well, you had a lot of good mentors along the way. You had a lot of good instruction along the way. You jumped in with some world champions, dude.
Yep.
I mean, at 16.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible.
I was serious.
Yeah.
And they knew I was.
So, somebody like Jake comes to you and says, I want to ride bucking horses. What's your advice?
You don't want to do it. It's what I told 3 kids showed up here.
Yeah.
I tell you, I was told talk is cheap. Everybody loves to talk about how tough they are and how big bad a cowboy. I'll tell them, you don't want to do this. You think wrestling's hard? You think basketball or football or running track? You think that's hard? This shit hurts.
Yeah.
This is a grown man sport.
Yeah.
Stay in your category. Get on steers. Get on calves. Get on Shetlands. Stay in your lane.
I say. Yeah.
Build up to it.
Yeah.
Don't, I got on big bucking horses when I was 14 or 15. I learned that that's not the way to do it. But I was so damn determined I was going to do it anyway. And I did. And it ended my career probably 2 or 3 years early. But back then, we're talking the 60s, that was the only way we had of doing it. Now you got choices. You got Cody Custer's, you got Tom, saddle bronc rider.
Tom Reeves.
Yeah, Tom Reeves teaches a great school. I sent Jake to him, paid full price. I paid my money for him to go to a bronc riding school in Texas. He said it was the best school he'd ever been to in the bronc ride.
Yeah.
He had the horses to meet the students' ability.
Yep. Gotta have
so there's
success.
some great schools out there. And the first thing I'll do is once they, well, okay, you want to try this? Look up, Lyle Sankey sold his rodeo schools. I said, look up Sankey schools, look up Cody Custer, look up Tom's, get the dates, get your parents to ante up. Let's get started. Mm-hmm. And I'll set them down and I'll watch 2 or 3 hours of rodeo. Mm-hmm. And, an old man can only do so much. I put them on saddle horses. I show them chute procedures. But this is my part-time gig.
Yeah.
It's not like I go out looking for these schools and stuff because they'll find you.
Yeah.
They'll find you.
Yeah. So, who in the rodeo world, dead or alive, would you like to meet and have dinner with and talk with?
I was behind the bucket chutes at Houston, Beaumont, Texas. And Larry Mahan had retired, but he had his band. And he was rocking and rolling. I was at Beaumont, had a nice horse right there in front, jerked my hand out of the ring, and at 7 seconds I was so embarrassed, I wouldn't go up and talk to him. And I was around him 3 or 4 times, and I've got good mutual friends, and it would have to be Mayan. He got on a bronc, spurred him about 4 or 5 jumps, set the rein on his neck, bailed out, threw him a microphone, he started singing. That was the coolest thing I'd ever seen, I think. But as far as a rodeo cowboy, it'd have to be Mahan. We would have hit it off. We would have rodeoed together. So, anyway, I miss that.
Now that wraps up this round with Mike Duplissey. We covered Detroit, the Silverdome, and the mindset it takes to ride rank. More of Mike's stories are still ahead, and yes, Marilyn's stories are on the way. That's it for this episode of Beyond the Chutes. Thanks for coming along with us. We're proud to be supported by Parasite System. Here's something to think about. Zoonotic diseases, infections that can pass from pets to people. Things like roundworms, hookworms, or even salmonella. Most folks never hear about it, but it's real and it could affect your family. So next time you're at the vet, ask them about zoonotic risks. Parasite is helping clinics catch problems early with fast, accurate diagnostics. Learn more at parasitesystem.com. We're also brought to you by Simcox & Company, a 4-generation barbershop in Cedar Falls, Iowa. Want to look sharp? Walk in and see Deb, Tom, Eli, or Troy. No appointment is needed. You can find them at Simcox & Company on Facebook.
Ready to hit the open road? Join the Wandering Gypsy RV Life Podcast for real stories, RV tips, and travel adventures from behind the wheel of Birdie B. Subscribe now wherever you get your podcasts.
And for music that travels well, stream Nicky McLeod's albums, Prepaid and Some Kind of Reckless. Available now wherever you find your music. BTC is headed back out soon. First stop, Marlon Harris's Mountain Cove Rodeo Reunion over Labor Day. Then it's north to Festival Western de St. Tite in September, and come October, BTC will be at Mike Swearingen's Rodeo Reunion. It's the first weekend in October. Look up Mike Swearingen on Facebook and let him know you're coming. Now, this has been a BTC production. Until next time, thank you for listening.